Hey guys, Zarbix here with another video for Warhammer Online, Return of Reckoning, the Age of Reckoning private server. This one is on a question that I've gotten quite a bit on Twitch, but also in the comments for some of my other videos. This is on the gameplay loop, the campaign. Wow. What is the point of playing Warhammer? I've done Battlegrounds, I've done PvE, I've done questing, I've killed players in OpenRVR, but what does the gameplay loop look like? What is the goal of running around the world and capturing these zones, and where does it all lead? What is the end game content? And that's what we'll go into in this video. So let's start from the very beginning. You're level 1, you're tier 1. Basically, you're just fighting over Nordland and Ekrund, and maybe the Blighted Isle. Capturing these zones, pushing back and forth, doesn't really impact the rest of the campaign. These are the starter areas where you're just learning about the rules and how the game works. The campaign really kicks off once you get to level 16 and you enter tier 2. Now, once the campaign really unlocks and goes into tier 2, that's the fresh start of the campaign. Everyone will be battling it out in Troll Country Ostland, Brakvar and Marshes of Madness, and Shadowlands in Illyrian. That is where it starts. Every time the server resets and we go start from scratch, you're starting in tier 2. Regardless of who gets the zones in tiers 2 and 3, whoever captures it, it'll push it to the next tier. So if Order or Destro captures Shadowlands, it'll push it to Avalorn, and regardless of who captures Avalorn or Safari, it'll push it to Dragonwake to tier 4. So tier 2 and 3 are just about fighting in those zones, capturing those zones. It doesn't matter which side gets there. Regardless of who gets it, you're going to be moving on to the next tier, and that changes once you get to tier 4. In tier 4, it matters a lot more which side captures the zones. Basically, capturing a zone is every zone will have 2 keeps in it. Split between maybe 2 zones sometimes. Whichever realm captures the keep and the objectives will lock the zone. That's what's going to give you rewards, bag rolls, and that's what's going to push the campaign onward. Once you get into tier 4, so let's use Prague as an example. Everyone will be battling it out here. There are 2 keeps, there are objectives. The goal is to raise your keep up to a certain amount of stars to get a ram, and then go siege the enemy realm keep, capture the objectives, and if you can get their keep doors down, get their lord down, and capture the zone, you've won that map. So in the case of tier 4, if Order were to win Prague, they would move to Chaos Waste. That is them pushing the campaign. But if Destruction would win Prague, they would go to Reichland. And all tier 4 zones share this kind of mechanic. All tier 4 zones, once you get to Thunder Mountain or Prague or Dragonwake, whichever side pushes that zone will move the campaign closer to the enemy realm's fortresses. So going back to our example of Empire v Chaos and Prague, if Order captures Prague, they'll go to Chaos Waste. Chaos Waste, another zone, another couple of keeps. Order will own one, Destro will own the other. If Order is able to capture Destro's keep and lock the zone, they will move on to a fortress. A fortress is like a massive keep battle. This is going to have 400 plus players battling it out in this zone to see who can capture the keep and kill the Fort Lord. Now, if the Fort Lord is defended, if the defender's here, in which case they would be Destruction, we're able to hold this fort for the 45 minutes of the battle takes, it would move the pairing back to Prague, and the whole thing would start all over again. But if the attackers, in this case Order, were able to capture the Maw, then they would lock the pairing. So there would be no more fighting in any of the Empire zones. This pairing would be locked for Order, and then it would move to the other 2 Dwarf and Elves. At that point, it starts all over again. In Dragonwake, one side has to try to capture these zones. In this case, let's pretend that Destruction captured it. They would move the fight to Eataine. If then they captured Eataine in that zone, they would move to one of Order's fortresses, Shining Way, and if they captured that, that would lock that pairing for Destruction. Then that means that everyone will be battling out in the last open pairing, Dwarfy Greenskin, starting at Thunder Mountain. Now, depending on which side will win these zones, capture Thunder Mountain and capture either Cadron Valley or Blackcrag, you'll move on to the final fort, and depending on who wins that, you'll go to a city. So to be able to attack the enemy realm city, you need to capture 2 entire pairings. That means capturing 2 fortresses and winning it for your side. Since there's only 3 maps, 3 sides of the campaign, one side could have 1 and the other side can have 2. You can battle out in one zone sometimes, or sometimes one side will have a clean sweep of all 3 and push to the enemy realm city. Right now in the game, the only cities are the Inevitable City for Destruction and the the outdoor for Order, but there is some rumors that they might be putting out some new cities in the near future, so maybe something to look forward to, the green skin and elf cities. So, and going back to our previous example, let's say Order managed to go on a clean sweep. They got Prague, they got Chaos Waste, they captured the fort. Then they did the same thing in Dwarf. They got Thunder Mountain, they got Cadron Valley, they got Black Crag, and they got Butcher's Pass. They got to those fortresses. They won those fortresses, did not get pushed back. Now they can go siege the enemy realm city, in this case, the Inevitable City. Now, once that begins, those will be 24v24 instance battles so that everyone can participate in them if you can get a group. You'll be fighting it out in the city to try to capture it. There can be as many instances firing off for the city as there are players. I've seen it go up to 30, which means about 1,500 players in different instances fighting it out for the city. Basically, the way it works is the side that gets the majority of the wins ends up winning the campaign. So if you win 15 or 16 out of that 30 as Order, you would capture the whole thing, you'd win the campaign, and after that expires, after all those cities end, the campaign completely resets back to tier 2 for both Dwarf, Empire, and High Elves, and you're battling it out in the campaign again from scratch. And that's back to capturing tier 2, moving to tier 3, and then moving back to tier 4. And that's basically the gameplay loop in Warhammer. It's about getting to tier 4 zones, capturing the tier 2 and 3 zones, moving towards the enemy realm's fortresses, defending your own, capturing theirs, and eventually trying to lock 2 pairings down so that you can go and attack the enemy realm city, get the best loot in the game, which comes from the city, its sovereign gear, and then start it all over again. A complete gameplay loop in Warhammer can take anywhere from, usually if you're starting a fresh map, I would say 6 to 24 hours to get there, depending on how populated one side is and how much of a role they get on. Campaigns can be pushed really, really quickly if there's little defenders, but if one side or both sides are equivalent, if they have equal numbers, the campaign can be going back and forth for not only hours but sometimes days. So hopefully that gives you guys a good idea about the campaign in Warhammer, how you can contribute to that. You should be joining a warband or going into these zones, capturing these keeps, defending and attacking your fortresses, and then working towards getting to that city, being there for when it fires off, and getting that sweet, sweet sovereign gear. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully that explained a little bit of the campaign in Warhammer to you. And if you have any other questions, always feel free to come find me on Twitch at TheZarbix. And if not, I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.